Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. We are on high injury alert, but we need to batten down the hatches, stay together, and hopefully beat those ruddy, muggy little seagulls.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought.
So yes, namaste, friends. And Huaguan, you little lengtings. Welcome on back to the channel. Chelsea versus Chelsea B, the little brother. The rivalry we never saw coming. Chelsea versus Brighton. Although Chelsea fans are so sick to the stomach with the relationship with Brighton constantly going back to the well, only just recently. And Ciso, what? Why? A Buonanotte loan, what? Why? Without an obligation or an option. A Joao Pedro purchase. Thank you very much. And actually, it makes you think Cucurella, Caicedo, Joao Pedro, even the developmental loan of Levi Colwill, who has become our most important defender, apparently. It's a complicated relationship we enjoy and hate with Brighton and Hove Albion. We're playing them tomorrow. Maresca's spoken in his pre-match press conference some worrying stuff. By the way, full disclosure, I'd already recorded half this video and I'd realised the microphone wasn't working. And it was because I updated some software and I was very frustrated. But I'm back in, I'm full throttle, I'm full effect, and I'm going to stick this content right up, yeah. So welcome in, strap yourselves in. Thank you as always for supporting the content. Liking, commenting, dropping those hyper points, whatever, if they even really do anything, yeah. And subscribing. If you choose to subscribe, I recommend you hit that sweet, sweet bell, baby. Hit the bell notification icon. Housework out the way. Let's get into it. Alright, you beautiful boys and girls. Maresca has spoken to the media. He has. And I'm going to tell you what this guy said. He's spoken about loads of things. First of all, he said, Cole Palmer, we've decided to protect him a little bit in terms of it not getting worse. We've decided to rest him for the next 3 or 4 weeks until the international break, just to see whether he can recover 100% and being completely fit. He doesn't think he needs surgery. Good, but that's a think. That's not definitive, guys. And he wants to manage the pain in his groin. I have had groin pain recently, and it's painful, bro, when you do exercise. And I do think maybe it's like the change of the season, Cole. But then again, I remembered I'm a 36-year-old man, and he's a 23-year-old athlete with millions of pounds of conditioning and coaches and stuff. Very different. But those of you out there, like me, many of you will be over 30, and when it gets colder, these little niggles in pains, they hurt a bit more, you know? So, I'm with you. Yes, Cole Palmer. Look at this harrowing image. This is supplied by Sky Sports. With and without Cole in the Premier League, was considering its starts. Small sample size without, granted, but a much bigger win percentage in 52.2%, which, by the way, isn't big enough for me. Goals per game, too, is kind of fine, really. Ultimately, I'd love a bit more, but that's not bad. And to be honest, even points per game, if you get points per game 2 and goals per game 2, an average across a season, you are a Champions League team, I reckon. That's what I think. But all that does highlight is Chelsea are better with Cole than not. It's undeniable. And of course, we need to remember this fixture last campaign was record-breaking, and you'll remember why, or some of you will, most of you will, 99% of you will. It's because Cole Palmer scored 4 ruddy goals in the first half, which no player has ever done before, or of course since. I think he did it in like 27 odd minutes. Chicken Oriental, mate. Very impressive indeed, although let's be real, Fabian Herzler won't be doing that high line again. But it was a lovely moment for all of us to enjoy. Now, look, those stats with and without Palmer, let's be fair, we've only just gained the new exciting talent and effectiveness of the likes of Stevo. I know we're putting a lot on the young man, but he does look, different gravy granules, that boy. He looks good. And, sorry, just burping away from the mic. Joao Pedro, who we're going to build a lineup, by the way. It's going to be fun. Joao Pedro, who kind of plays well in a reserved role, so maybe behind a Mark Gu or someone. And of course, Neto has got better and developed in that time. He looked a bit gassed recently. And we have bought new attackers, Gittins and Garnacho. Yes, we're yet to see them do anything of significance, but they are there. They're poised to go, develop and get better. So ça c'est la situation avec Cole Palmer. Et c'est une situation très triste. C'est un dommage. As they say in the motherland, just as sad. And a shame. From one bit of bad news to the other, Maresca went on to say, we have a Tosin injury. Great. That is annoying. That is really annoying, because in the absence of Cole Palmer, Tosin was playing the Cole Palmer? Levi Colwill, excuse me. Tosin was playing the Colwill role in terms of the central centre-back in possession, passing the ball around. His passing stats are quite good. He says Tosin will be out until the international break. So like Palmer, they're best buddies, aren't they? So that at least they can hang out, maybe go to some nice autumnal markets together around West London. That's what young footballers do, right? Surely they don't play FIFA and, you know, go to like really expensive shopping places. They go to autumnal markets. He says he's got a small calf problem. Wes Fofana, he had concussion the other day. Wes Fofana had concussion the other day. Do you remember why? Because he got punched in the face by Jorgensen. I used it in my thumbnail on my match review. It's literally like him going, ah. He got smacked in the face. He got concussion from this good-ass goalkeeper literally clowning him in the face. He ironed him out. Our own goalkeeper is ironing out our returning centre-back that, you know, I'm hoping does well. This is where Chelsea are at the moment, yeah? We got freaking Sanchez deciding to come out and do Dogzo 3 minutes into a high-profile must-not-lose game, which makes us lose the game. And then we got, all right, well, let's see if Jorgensen can fill in and shine. No, he literally punches our returning defender in the face and gives him a concussion. You cannot write it. You don't need to, because it's Chelsea, and we're here. He had concussion. The rest are, I think, all okay. Romeo and so Romeo Lavia, which is a huge welcome back to the squad, and Benoit are better. We'll see if they can join us tomorrow. Hugely important. Of course, Romeo Lavia, he's not the same as Caicedo, can't do the same role, but in a game of maybe like middling to not so high profile, Lavia can play instead of Caicedo, although that's not his job. That was meant to be Dario Asugo's job. He won't be back till the new year because of his quad injury, which is all pretty catastrophic. It's pretty miserable sugar, if you ask me. But it's good that these men are back, and we'll see if they can join us tomorrow. I doubt either will just start out of nowhere, but maybe they will. We are going to do lineups and look at Brighton, so keep it locked. We're just getting through these comments. Maresca spoke on Rob Sanchez. For a long period of time, he was very good for us. Let's be fair, for a few weeks. But look, if you're gonna be good for a few weeks, great. But if you're gonna go back to catastrophic, costing you high-profile errors, it completely undermines the good periods, doesn't it? It's just nonsense. You can't. I mean, look, I don't want to waste your time and my time speaking so much about that goalkeeper. The end part of last season, the beginning of this season, he was fantastic. He made a mistake against Man United. He recognised that. We are happy with both of them and Philip Jorgensen. He's towing the line, but I am not happy with either of them. He's happy with both of them. I don't believe that, and I am not happy with either. I don't know what you guys feel. It's a game of opinions. He talks about Enzo Fernandez. This is interesting because he's been playing like... I really want to drop a swear word, but I'm not going to. Enzo can play in different positions. He can play as a 6, which he won didn't he win the World Cup for Argentina playing as like the deepest midfielder? Attacking midfielder. We use him 90% of our games as an attacking midfielder. I think he's very good in that position. The reason why he can have some good and bad moments is the amount of games. True, but I just think he's been out of form as well. I'm a fan of Enzo Fernandez. He interestingly runs the most of any Chelsea player, which does surprise me. You think maybe it would be Caicedo, but then you think Kante ran everywhere. But Caicedo he's more strict with his positioning, so he doesn't do as much running. But Fernandez, he's not fast. In fact, dare I say, he's very slow. But he runs like he really puts it in. That's probably why he's got the captaincy, the vice captaincy. He goes on to say about Fernandez. For any player, it's impossible to think you can play 45, 64 games all at the same level. It's normal you drop in some games. We are very, very happy with Enzo. Fine. All nice feelings. Now, Mark Yu, this is relevant for the game, of course, because we want a conventional number 9. We want a meat and potato striker. We want a old-fashioned centre forward. Don't we? The balance of the game, the balance of the team is important. Mark is working well and he will get some chances. I think the vibe on Q is he likes him as a player, but he just genuinely doesn't think he's ready at the moment to like feature and do what he wants, which is kind of fine. I mean, it's annoying. We want him to be ready and we all as fans just assume, chuck him in, he could do a job, but you know, we're not one of the coaches. If they're looking at him and they're like, this guy is just legit not conditioned or ready to do what we need, then fine. He says, I think it's a bit early. Next week defines this. I think it's a bit early to think the next week defines the season. We're not even in October. He's basically saying, let's not make any, rash evaluations yet. Josh Chiampong. Now, we've all been like, of course he was ill against Lincoln. He would have started that game. But he's been trusted in high-profile games. And dare I say, we're going to need him tomorrow. A little bit of a spoiler there. I already showed trust and confidence in Josh Chiampong. We trust Josh not just because of the injury situation. He was ill last week. There you go. He had the first session yesterday. Part of my job is to find solutions when we have problems with some numbers. Fine. There is not any information going on Axel Disasi. He's not currently an option. Shock horror. 1 second. Yes, sorry. We play and rotate the same players. We try to always rotate the players. It's been the main target this season because of the amount of games and injuries. Yes, he's talking about rotation. And there's been additional breaking news after I'm using Absolute Chelsea on X, by the way, for context here. Wes Fofana is set to miss Chelsea's matches against Brighton, Benfica and Liverpool because of his concussion symptoms. Oh my God! Wes did post a picture on his story of him just looking sad, going, thanks, Philip. But I thought it was like a banter after being punched in the face. Philip Jorgensen has punched out Fofana until after the international break. Deep that. What an absolute knobber, man. Oh my God. That is so annoying. So we talk about the game then? We're playing Brighton, those muggy little seagulls. I'm not going to... Look, they had that kid who scored 4 goals. And did you see his goals? As they away at Barnsley. Let's pretend he doesn't exist. And let's go... and he's not going to feature against Chelsea. Although, he probably will. But let's look at their lineup against Tottenham. A high-profile win. Actually, they probably should have won 2-1. They drew 2-2 at home. But it was an own goal by Van Hecke. But let's have a look. Verbruggen, Van Hecke, slam dunk still there. Remember when I wanted him over Thiago Silva? Different times. A guy at left back, who I'm not going to try and pronounce his name. Of course, Baleba. Absolute mustard player. They've got good players all round, really. Rutter's back in, is he? Gruder, of course, Welbeck will probably feature. They got a good team, man. What do we need to say about Brighton? They fluctuate under Fabian Hurtzler, but they've got a good team. They will want revenge. They've beaten us. They beat us twice, didn't they? Because we beat them 4-0, but then they beat us twice in Cup and League, and that was like my nadir of last season where I was so miserable. You probably remember, like, regular viewers of this channel, that for me was like this sucks, I'm miserable. Like, that was obviously things perked up towards the end of the season, but yeah, it was mizzy. Right, so let's try and build a lineup here. I'm going to use, so this is Footbin. I'm going to try and squeeze it down a little bit, there we go. We're going to do it in a 4-2-3-1 because that's how I'm gonna make it. Obviously in possession, it's what is it? It's like It's not even that. That's kind of it, isn't it? That's kind of it. It's a box midfield. You attack with 5, but actually the cams are much deeper. Should we build it like that? Yeah, I think let's do that. Let's do that, but it'll be way more like reserved. Like there'll be wingers and there'll be a proper box midfield behind the striker rather than those cams being so far high up. So look, Rob Sanchez is eligible after his red card. I'm spelling Sanchez wrong. So let's get him in. Sadly, there he is. And we're going to need 2 centre-backs, okay? My giddy aunt. It's got to be freaking Josh and Trev, isn't it? We've got no one else. I mean, Benoit's there, but I doubt he'll start. I doubt Benoit Badiashile will start. Unless he has to. Because you could do... Let's get Trev in. Because he's like your banker. And then look, you could do, I'm going to show you what I want, okay? This is what I want. I don't know if Achampong can play, this is right back here. I don't know if he can play that centre passing, but I'm putting him there. I'm putting Reece James as the reserved, right back, tucking into the back 3. So in possession, maybe Achampong and Chalobah switch if you rely on Chalobah's passing. Maybe Achampong doesn't start, Benoit starts as the left footer on the left, or Achampong does start and Reece doesn't start. You could even have that. You could have that. But for the moment, this is what I'm going for. And of course, the left back represented here will be Cucurella. So that he'll go forwards in possession and hold the width, and maybe go inside, whatever, in those places there. And then that means right mid, I think, will be a right winger. Okay? Maybe. Hold on, let's think about this. Let's get Caicedo in. Let's do the ones we know. Caicedo. We know Enzo Fernandez is going to play. He's just going to play, isn't he? He's just gonna... Oh, why am I not doing this? There it is. So it's gonna be that. Ooh la la. Yes. Okay. Okay. Because now there'll be 2 inside sort of forwards at the right. Interesting. So I'm gonna go with Neto. Here. So he's going to be my width holder in his native holding position, yeah. I'm going to go Steval as a starter, especially because Cole's not available. So he'll kind of be like here, basically. Yeah. And he can swap with Pedro Neto, although Pedro doesn't really come inside much. Now, this is really interesting, guys, yeah? Because we could do this. Oh, I can't spell. I apologise. I'm making this longer than it needs to be. We could do this, yeah? Which means... I don't think he's ready, but many Chelsea fans would have wanted to see this. So we get to see Joao do his preferred withdrawn. He really loved playing behind Liam Delap, didn't he? As a physical presence to occupy defenders. And if there's one profile available, it would be Mark Gue. But let's be honest, I don't think Mark Gue is going to start in this game. I don't think he'd be ready to start a Premier League game, but that would be what we'd want. So in reality, what we're going to see is that, which leaves one more space for an attacker. And I think that attacker is going to be Garnacho. Viva Garnacho. And there he is. So that would be that's pretty naughty, ultimately. You could have substitute appearances from Jamie Gittins, Malo Gusto, Romeo Lavia, Benoit Badiashile, and I guess should we need it, and I hope we don't need it, and I don't know what need would mean in this context, but Yorel Hato. So there are players to come in. Badiashile, Lavia, Gusto, Gittins, maybe Mark Gue, and actually, all in all, that's pretty okay, really. So that's the situation. I'm going to do a score prediction. I think we win 2-1, and I will take that to the bank, lock it in, and never speak of it again. I feel like we just need to navigate some turbulent times at Chelsea, and this is that. So I'm going to go 2-1 Chelsea win, goals scored from Joao Pedro, and you know what I'd love? I'd love a Garnacho goal, maybe, but I wonder if he's going to get an assist or something nice and just help the play. So I'm going to go for a Joao Pedro goal, maybe a Garnacho assist in one of the goals. And I'd love a Reece James goal. A winner, perhaps. A Reece James, like, don't worry, I'm here, we're going to get through this. And that's my prediction. Let me know yours. React to everything I've said. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Do keep it locked to Football Therapy. I'm very grateful to have you all here for the ride. I will be uploading again on the second channel, Football Yannick. If you want to go show me additional support, go subscribe to the second channel, Football Yannick, where I speak of other footballing matters. All right, mate. Take care. Peace.